In the 1990s, vast parts of Britain moved under the power of the Ford Mondeo. This mid-sized family saloon represented the aspirations of millions of middle-class workers all over the country. If you were a Mondeo man or woman, then you were going places. It's got good form too, because we named it our Car of the Year in 1993 and again in 2001. These days though, it does face some tougher competition from the likes of Skoda Superb and Volkswagen's Passat. To compete here, the Mondeo will need to persuade family buyers that it can be every bit as practical and comfortable as its rivals, while offering you great value for money. And for any car, that's a tall order. In this review, we'll tell you what it's like to drive, how easy it is to live with, and how much stuff you can get inside. And if at the end of all of that, you're thinking about buying one, then you can head to our new car deals section, where we can help save you thousands. First though, let's see what it's like on the road. In a class heavily associated with company car drivers, it is no surprise that diesels are at the core of the Mondeo's engine range. There's the 1.5 and 2 litre diesel to choose from, and we recommend the 1.5 litre diesel because it's smooth and is extremely efficient. However, if you would like more power and you'd like stronger acceleration, then you can go for the 177 brake horsepower 2 litre diesel fitted to this car. There's 2 petrol engines to choose from, and out of those, we recommend the 1.5 litre EcoBoost. And there's also a hybrid, which teams a 2 litre petrol with an electric motor, but the combination doesn't really work that well, so we would avoid the hybrid. One thing Ford does really well is make its cars handle well, and the Mondeo is no exception. It's agile, turns into corners eagerly, and doesn't lean too much through the faster bends. If I had one criticism, it would be the steering wheel is too enthusiastic to self-center, which doesn't really give you a clear indication of how much grip there is on the front wheels, even if the steering is pretty precise. The Mondeo rides well for a big car too, especially if you stick with smaller alloy wheels. And no matter which version you go for, very little engine and wind noise finds its way inside. On the cheaper trim levels, you have to make do with manual adjustment on the seat and steering wheel. This one is not one of the cheaper models, so I've got electrically adjustable seats. Even with the manually adjustable ones, you still can find a comfortable driving position. The adjustment for the steering wheel is in a really awkward place because it's quite far over to the right. So that's not the easiest to get to. However, I have now found my comfortable driving position. I'm sure you will as well. What's not so great is visibility out of the front and the back, because these pillars are just so large, and it does make it quite difficult to judge the Mondeo's extremities when parking. Thankfully though, parking sensors do come as standard, front and rear. And on the options list, you can also spec a reversing camera, and all cars come with a heated front screen, which is a lot more pleasant to clear snow and ice than using a scraper. Every Mondeo comes with this 8-inch touchscreen, which includes features such as DAB radio and Bluetooth. Unfortunately, it's not quite as easy to use as the system found in, say, the Skoda Superb. The home screen has got different sections and then small icons within, which when you're on the move, it's actually quite difficult to hit the right button. And it's not quite as crisp and logically laid out as the Volkswagen Passat or again the Skoda. So overall, that could be better, although the voice command facility is rather good. And if you start to look and feel around, it's just not quite as plush as the Volkswagen Passat or Skoda Superb. The buttons are just not quite as satisfying to operate, and some of the materials are just a little bit low rent. Even the tallest of people will find that there is enough room in the front of the Ford Mondeo, and if this is your first What Car video review that you're watching, I'm only 5'4½". If you're 6 foot, you will find that it is plenty roomy enough. It's also a very wide car, so there's plenty of space between you and your passenger, just in case you have an argument. And there's lots of storage places everywhere. So a large bottle of water, we have a posh one today, fits in the door bin, but it might be a little dangerous to leave it in there because the door bin is a tad on the shallow side. So we're going to pop it in the glove box because there's plenty of room in there. There's a little storage place here in front of the gear lever, 2 cup holders and some more storage here. So I've got the key because it's push button start, some snacks, and there's quite a deep storage as well there, which is very useful. Move into the back and you'll find that there is not as much headroom as there is in a Skoda Superb. But if you're average or below average height, you'll have no problem at all. You can fit 3 adults side by side without too many complaints. And there's a useful door bin pocket, armrest if you haven't got a middle seat passenger with 2 cup holders as well. And there's also a map pocket on the back of the seats. I haven't got a map. I've got the latest brochure for the Ford Mondeo. So I'm going to put that in there. Move round to the Mondeo's boot and the first thing you notice is this hatchback style opening, which is by far the most practical. Note if you go for the hybrid you lose that and it's only a saloon opening, so not quite as practical. It's a large boot, although it's not quite as big as Skoda's Superb. And there's a load lip here, which is a little irritating, although not uncommon in class. And if you need more space, fold down the rear seats to create even more room. The cheaper diesel versions of the Mondeo stack up well financially, regardless of whether you're buying on PCP or outright. It's cheaper to buy than many of its rivals and emits less CO2, making it one of the cheapest company cars in its class. Go for our recommended ZTEC edition trim and you'll get alloys, climate control and that 8-inch colour touchscreen infotainment system. We can see the appeal of a titanium edition specification too because it adds leather seats, automatic lights and wipers and keyless entry. The more expensive trims are harder to recommend and the ST line models ride on sport suspension, so don't ride quite as smoothly. If you're a company car driver, it's hard to look past the 1.5 litre diesel because of its low CO2 emissions. However, if you're a private buyer, the 1.5 litre petrol EcoBoost is worth a look. Automatic emergency braking comes as standard across the Mondeo range and it was awarded the full 5 stars in the Euro NCAP crash testing when it was last tested in 2014. No matter which Mondeo you go for, it's worth noting that Ford offers large discounts across its range, so be sure to haggle hard. Overall, the Mondeo is not quite as an impressive all-rounder as the Skoda Superb, but it is good to drive, spacious and has a big boot. So if you're interested in buying one, head to whatcar.com, read our full online review, including those of its rival, and remember, we can help save you money. Go to our new car deals section, but before you go anywhere, hit subscribe and never miss another video.